Good afternoon. So, I have a new challenge at hand. I told you guys that I was soon going to, or maybe I didn't, but anyways, in just a few days, I'm going to be leaving for the first time, and gonna be gone for like the entire day, which is actually gonna be like about 13 hours. So we are in the middle of introducing the bottle, and this is our first trial run. So starting last night, I was able to pump this much. Took me about 35 minutes, maybe a little bit more. And all I got was just this 1 little ounce. So last night when Dad tried to feed baby, it wasn't really successful. Then I tried it again this morning, and I let her sister try to feed her on the way to school, and it also wasn't successful. But I also think it might have to do with the positioning of the bottle, who's doing the feeding, if they're doing it correctly. So for those that are entering this stage in their life where maybe they have to go back to work, or maybe they are going on a trip, or maybe like whatever the case may be, introducing the bottle to an exclusively breastfed baby can be a bit of a challenge. So the first thing would be to start doing it early, maybe at like 2 months as opposed to really close to 3 months, because she's going to be 3 months in just a few days, and this is our first time really trying the bottle. So I can expect some challenges, but the thing is that the baby has gotten so used to just my nipple that it's really difficult for her to even consider this nipple. So, and then also it's really challenging when mom is trying to do the feeding as opposed to somebody else. So, I tried a little bit this afternoon to introduce the bottle, and I think it was kind of working. She would suck for a little bit, but then she would stop and just let the milk flow in her mouth, and then she'll just let it drain out the corner, or she wouldn't suck it at all. So, I mean, the fact that she latched and took a few sucks was a little bit successful to me. And that's making a little bit of progress, but I'm just a little bit nervous about how this weekend's going to go. So I will definitely keep you guys posted on that. And introducing the bottle is definitely going to be a bit of a process. So I know that in a previous video, I shared with you that my milk storage was, in my opinion, pretty low, compared to what I've been able to previously produce. I have only been producing in like 1 ounce bags, and I'm used to producing about 5 ounce bags. So like a whole bunch of little 1 ounce bags is like really stressful for me. And that's the other reason why bottle feeding has not necessarily been like super well planned out this time, because I haven't really been able to pump more than an ounce at a time. So like for me, when it comes to like breastfeeding, if things aren't really going like in an abundant direction, then it kind of stresses me out. If I'm not pumping at least 3 ounces or more, then that's like stresses me out. If the baby isn't like really like sucking on this nipple and really actually showing some interest to this nipple, then that stresses me out, and it discourages me. So, and that's not really the route you want to go. You want to just stay consistent, even though there are going to be like roadblocks. You just want to stay consistent, consistently give them the nipple, consistently pump, and things are supposed to progress, but it doesn't always mean that it will. And then if things aren't progressing, then that's when you want to make an appointment to see your doctor or a lactation specialist. So I actually did do that on New Year's Eve. I went to see a lactation specialist, and I kind of shared my concerns about having to leave the baby and how I wasn't getting lots of milk production. with the pump. And so we developed a plan that in the mornings after the baby's first 2 feedings, I would wait 30 minutes and then I would pump 15 to 20 minutes. I haven't actually really been consistent with that because that was during the holidays and the kids were out. So now that the kids are back in school and our schedule and our family routine is like back to like business schedule, I don't necessarily wake up and feed the baby because the baby sometimes is still asleep. So sometimes we can get all the way into the car and then I will have my first feeding, and then of course I'm not going to be pumping after that. So that kind of throws that whole plan off and out. I'm actually going to have to revisit and probably develop a new plan because that's kind of not working. And if I'm only pumping an ounce every time, if that, because I've pumped before and not gotten anything, if I'm only pumping an ounce at a time, then that's like 12-hour days are not going to work for me. Also, another thing that I learned is that I probably only need about 8 ounces for a 12-hour shift or 12 hours away from baby, which I don't think is enough. But I also have to remember, and other moms out there too, you just have to consider that the baby's stomach is really small and they're definitely not eating as much as we are. But I just always in my head think, okay, I need to leave 3 5-ounce bottles. 15 ounces a day is like what I think needs to be left just for my sanity. And so with 13 ounces stored already, I already have enough for 2 days, but that's it. And then on to the next week, which means that I need to have about 16 ounces a week pumped. And I just don't feel that happening. I really don't. So these are some of my breastfeeding struggles with pumping and then introducing the bottle. And then again, I will keep you guys posted on how things are progressing, if they're progressing, and if they're not progressing, what I'm going to do to try to fix them. So I haven't reached a solution yet because I'm still trying to problem solve, but we'll cross that bridge when we get there. So I will keep you guys posted and we'll see what happens this weekend. Now let's see here. I just want to make sure that this is still, because like I said, I pumped this last night, but I did refrigerate it, and we had a couple attempts today. She also just nursed on me, so she may not take it, but let's see. See, she seems really interested. Like, she's not rejecting it, and I don't know why it's working for me and not others, but she's not necessarily rejecting it. So let's see. She's also a really greedy baby, like, so she's probably just like, oh, okay, cool. But yeah, she's not interested in this at all. I feel like she's gonna choke herself. Yeah, this isn't working out. Her pediatrician also, so like when you go take your kids for checkups, the babies, they'll sometimes like stick their fingers in their mouth and just like check to see how their sucking reflex is, or just how their sucking is, or their latches. I don't really honestly know what they're checking for, but it has to do with the sucking department. And she said, yeah, I can definitely tell, like, she's a breastfed baby. Like, taking a nipple or a pacifier or anything other than your nipple is probably going to be more challenging, just because she can tell by the way that she was sucking that she is for sure definitely a breastfed babe. So there's that too. So a part of it was me just taking too long to introduce the bottle, but then, you know, when you're not pumping a lot, you kind of like don't want to waste your milk. You don't really have any milk to spare to try to test things out. Like, if I had a lot more milk, then yeah, like constantly trying out bottles and tossing the milk once it's old, then it would be no problem. But because I don't really have a lot of milk to spare, it's really hard to try to introduce a bottle. So like, yeah, I can introduce a bottle, but we need to see if she's like actually gonna take it, and like there's nothing else really to give her because she's so new. I guess water, but like, I don't know. I guess I could try it and see. I guess that's a solution. So I would definitely check with my doctor first, or the baby's pediatrician first. But moms, if that's like something that you're struggling with, if you don't really have enough milk to spare to even try to see how bottle feeding is gonna work, then see if water is an option, and then go from there. So I am gonna head out because I actually have a doctor's appointment to go to. And I will be back with an update maybe later tonight. Not sure, but maybe later tonight I will post an updated video about the bottle feeding process. So you guys have a great afternoon.